Welcome back again to ESL Pro League. We've got another one for you. FaZe and Mousesports going head-to-head on no other than Inferno. And this is a spicy one because this is the map that brought FaZe their first ever championship at StarLadder.
They're very, very good on Inferno, I have to say. It's one of my favorite teams to watch in this particular map. We talked about how good Ali was then on Overpass. He's lights out on Inferno. He's one of the best AWPers on this map right now, especially on the CT side. No one can really mimic how he plays the map. He's very aggressive. He's not scared to actually push down middle as a CT player. Rotates, yeah, exactly, right? He's just crazy good on this one. And after what I've seen this then, I was speculating whether Tensky could keep up with this team. He actually outfragged Rain in that last game when they won as well. So that's actually looking good.
He was one of the best players on that T side. Yeah. Well, he had the most frags. I don't know if that makes him one of the best players. But he had impact, obviously.
Sure.
Something which is interesting to me on Inferno is if we're going to see the return of the double AWPs from FaZe.
Thank you. I was going to bring the discussion around that level because you said they're very good on Inferno, but that double AWP setup looked mighty sketchy at times in that championship.
That was with Nico, right? Yep. I discussed it with Karrigan afterwards, and he's obviously the in-game leader. But the thing is, every player has contribution to what they want to do that particular round. So a player like Nico, it's very difficult to argue with him, right? And the idea was Nico wanted to AWP that day. They don't normally run a double AWP setup, but he felt that was the right solution to that particular map. Obviously, they won, but it was very sketchy at times. And I was commentating that game, right? I'm sure you heard me kind of having a bit of an aneurysm watching. You know, the thing is, well, they weren't complimenting each other. That was the problem. So Nico would be like new boxes on B side of Inferno, right? And Karrigan would be in CT Spawn. That doesn't make any sense, right? Because as soon as Karrigan's smoked out, you've got an AWPer who's getting Molotov the new boxes as well, and he can't do anything. He takes one shot. If he misses that, the round's done.
You kind of want the AWPer to be the rotator, right?
Exactly.
You want that to be the player at Coffins or CT so they can rotate on over to the jungle arch side of the map and cover off there. It also has a good use in that part of the map. And I think, you know, to be able to swing out and take more risky picks would be a positive thing as well. You can't really do that from the site, like you're saying. You just get completely isolated by utility.
I think what they are kind of expecting to happen going to that one, they wouldn't be challenged so much at Banana and Alnika to be set up at the car position, and then they were doing fine, but they kept getting overwhelmed by the grenades. Like, obviously, going against Astralis, they're going to be very methodical with their nades placements and pushing CTs back. Obviously, a lot of teams right now on Inferno, especially using double AWPs. Like G2 kind of presented that first and looked very strong with it. People are trying to mimic it now, but slowly but surely, teams are learning how to push the AWPs back and make them almost useless. So I think it's situational. If you have firm control of the money and you know the nades aren't going to be going on the T side, you maybe pick an AWP up. Sure, let's run with it. And as soon as it starts getting shut down, that's when you need to drop it off. Especially a player like Nico as well, one of the world's best riflers, right? Decent with an AWP, but you want him rifling. If he had a rifle in those particular scenarios I described, he's getting 1 or 2 kills every time.
Yeah.
So
I know we don't do predictions here, but let's do one quick one.
Go.
Just very quickly. Is Tense going to do better on the T side or the CT side, Henry?
CT side.
Chad?
Yeah, I'll go with CT side.
CT side as well?
Yep.
Cool. Well, I have good news.
Go on.
I believe we're ready to go over to your casters. The game is ready. The players are all on the server, which is phenomenal. Great job, players. Take it away, Uber and Pansy.
Thank you very much again, boys. Interesting on Tensky. He actually performed far better on the T side from FaZe in that previous game there as well. I mean, it wasn't rocket science. It weren't reinventing the wheel, Lauren, but FaZe came out on top regardless. So this will be an interesting map indeed. 4th versus 5th on the ladder. I mean, both these two teams managing to, or trying to, you know, dig their claws in and keep themselves within that playoff bracket, which is only 6 teams, Lauren, and there are many vying for that position.
Yeah, they are certainly not alone in a very close section of the Pro League. It's incredibly tough for these guys. Every win can change everything. We saw it, obviously, basically, you know, week by week at this point. New top 6 shuffles here and there. Someone, you know, just about coming in, then having to drop out because other teams finally get the wins as well. It is very, very tough at the moment. It's very cutthroat at that sort of point. So for Mousesports, they need to stick into this one. This would be a great map pickup for them, but I don't know if this is quite the go-to yet. Not sure if we've seen Rops on it yet. Again, something to keep your eyes on. Maybe you can find a role here. But yeah, FaZe, a lot of question marks how they're going to play this one out. Will we see those double AWPs? We saw it just feature in the last map again. Something that I know people don't necessarily thoroughly support. I think there's maybe some room for switching it up there. Maybe you're looking for new options as to how to make it fit into that if they want to start running it on more of a regular basis. But that'll be some time in the making, I can imagine, as it will be FaZe starting out on the T side. CT side will be Mousesports. And, well, Mouse need to get that CT side rolling for them.
And the gun round's going to be really spicy. Talked about Alu, talked about the way he plays on this map. That aggression that he shows, we see him often go for that mid-peak. For example, I think that's something interesting to see. Let's see, though, FaZe going to start off on that T side. The pistol's where it all begins, and Karrigan is carrying a lot of utility.
Yeah, it seems as though he'll be the man to kind of instigate what happens here, and it looks like a fast mid play, and Alu again on the pistol has been an absolute beast. You saw it on overpass, and it looks like we might be seeing it again. One for him. Nico's going to easily claim Rops. He's got not much of a chance in that. And it's a bulldozer piece from FaZe. A deep smoke towards library side, keeps them safe from anyone trying to challenge in. And you've got 5 alive and an after plant to boot. This is a lovely start for FaZe.
Doesn't get much better than this, Lauren. Pretty much perfect from Woe to go for FaZe Clan. Straight up mid, and now getting into the heads of Mousesports in more ways than one. LOL attempting to try and do something. The FaZe have just taken hardly any damage in this round. That is clean as a whistle. Like a glove, and FaZe Clan start off with a very strong pistol.
Not a single kill coming in for Mousesports there. Force up, though, from them here. We're going to be seeing those upgraded pistols, bit of armor, and if they can afford it, maybe a flash or 2. But that's your lot here. And on the other side, 3 SMGs or the UMPs that, you know, can sometimes be almost confused for a rifle these days. And then 2 of the real deals. You got the 2 AKs, 1 on Alu, 1 on Nico. So they're the eyes, you know, you've got to be watching almost at points, see if they get caught out, picked up. A little bit of the slow spam through the apartments. It basically allows Rain, and I think it's pretty Tensky to get to these spots and know or have a little bit of safety in knowing that there won't be someone pushed up too quickly. It's as simple as that.
I think it also dissuades getting too close up the corridor as well. Forces Mousesports to stay right back, which they're happy to do in this case. It's a cursory presence in towards apartments here. In fact, it's minimal at best. Oscar seems to be more interested in what's happening in mid. He'll have a target in a moment if Carrigan chooses to swing out. LOL will also be watching from the far side, but won't see this pick from Carrigan. The Desert Eagle gets absolutely nothing done. Oscar gunned down where he stands. LOL's forced out of position. Almost another opportunity there for Carrigan to make good, but it doesn't matter because the rest of his team is doing it for him.
Yeah, and this was a stack towards A as well. There were 4 players here and only 1 towards B, but already the B player's gone down, so it's down to LOL and Rops. There's 1 player on the side that could do some work. It's going to be LOL. That's good work from him. Nicely done. Gun recovered if he wants it. Got to be a little bit cautious. There is still 1 man lurking around. I think it's going to be Rain pretty close by, but the bomb's been planted. So job done for FaZe. They've lost out on 1 player, but that's not the end of the world. That was one of the UMPs. So as long as they keep the rifles up, they've got a bomb plant. They're feeling pretty good about this.
And for Mousesports, if you're stacking a site, you expect more than just the 1 kill at the end of the day, especially if LOL's not able to maintain this SMG for the late part. Alu's going to find him eventually, and oh dear, that's not good. Mousesports, again, only 1 kill in this game so far. That was to LOL, and no extra money from that round, really. You can see how they're all very poor.
I see the pace from FaZe here. We saw their first pistol round was incredibly explosive, straight up middle, no messing around. That deep smoke eventually utilized once they'd already got the kill down and in the bag. So I really like this, and I wonder how they approach this one. It looks like Mousesports, as a reply, going to go for the 5-man stack towards A for now. They can always jump on back over if they hear, you know, enough steps, possibly. I think that's going to be LOL's job, pretty much. Just kind of call where the stack goes here if he does hear anything on Banana.
Well, FaZe are already onto the B site here, and I think by now they're starting to realize that they've stacked A. So Mousesports maybe not making the correct decision here, but hoping to get something in this round. Again, they don't buy anything, so the onus is really on them to try and make this worthwhile. Rain realizes that he's a little bit too deep. Up on top of the trellis now, as Carrigan wants to come forward and try and make a little bit of money. But this is pretty well held at the moment by Mousesports. Carrigan is lucky to get out alive. Very uneventful map so far.
Yeah, not much of a resistance from Mousesports here. You know, we'll wait for the buy to come in.
Ooh, Oscar.
And even frag-wise, it is very light for Mousesports, so even this purchase is going to be so limited. You've still got, you know, very low end of 4K here, so if you go onto the full rifle, you're going to be down to maybe a flash.
Chris J has to settle for UMP for that reason.
I'm wondering if he's going to maybe play a little different. I actually don't know how Mousesports play this map, so I'll be looking to see where they put themselves throughout this one. Chris J going to take that utility over towards B. That's not a bad plan at all. Probably a good theory piece from him. And Carrigan still on that Mac 10.
Yeah, minimal upgrades so far from FaZe. I think Nico has gone up to an AK, or at least exchanged. Rain going to be in towards the apartments now. We'll see what this utility for Chris J is mostly used. He's actually over at B at this stage, so not a lot that Mousesports can really do for themselves here at A, but Oscar makes the peak. Timing is good, and Carrigan is down.
Yeah, so far FaZe just not winning out in the gunfights, taking some very dry 1v1s, and it's not panning out to the way that they'd want. Carrigan kind of, I guess you expect Carrigan to not win that one, but Rops finding the frag towards apartments is a very nice addition. And you've still got 3 players here towards the A side dedicated from Mouse, and you've got 1 on the jump off, which is Chris J, playing very passive towards CT Arch. Nico has found a little bit of room to work. Rain finding Oscar. Nico needs to check towards deep pit. He does, and he wins it. He can't find the follow-up, though. Dennis will still stand. Takes his time on the frag, and he gets it. That's big from Dennis. That follow-up shot towards Ali was very well played. Especially
where his position was well known, that had been sort of given away to FaZe. They understood where Dennis was going to be standing, and he had to change position and win that fight out regardless. And so far, so good. Another slower start for Tensky in this particular game. But Mousesports fight back. The gun round comes in. The problem was that getting only one kill over the first few rounds means that even here, even winning that round, they can only really go for UMPs. It was costly.
Costly indeed. Nico and the boys putting down some early utility towards the top of Banana, and right to be doing so. You can see the two attentive players towards the top of it, and they can't really back away, but maybe they don't need to. A lot of damage taken, but the frag will fall in towards their pocket. Lol going to find Nico. That's a nice bit of play from him. Bit of impact to come out nice and early. Now 5v4. You've got the CT arch, well, excuse me, no one in CT arch from the CT side. That could be a problem down the line. It just takes longer to rotate. Lol. Gonna be sat right at the back of New Box. And Chris J, very, very passive by CT, so he might slowly work his way around. If I don't know if I like this. This is putting so much, basically, pressure on Lol if they do go for this B hit. The first flash and smoke comes in. Chris J can't really play back into this either. Yeah, he's very low on HP. He's only got a UMP. So it's kind of tough for him to make this one count.
No one else from Mousesports has drifted across yet. And Chris J, yeah, kind of already put himself out of position a little bit there with the smoke that was placed down. And now there's no way he peeks that. Now that Molotov doesn't quite connect. I think it might have been for the boost, actually. That's fine. It is, yeah. And you can see it spreads a bit towards the roof. Physics, throw it out the window. Now Lol, 2 kills. Dropped into the Molotov. It's going to have to take him. He was very low. 1 tick was enough to get the job done, but Mousesports are still looking good. Lol's done his job. 2 kills. The bomb going down. FaZe, now they're going to have to dig themselves in. This one could get nasty. Alu in the far right corner with the AWP. Looks in towards CT, but doesn't realize that most of Mousesports have already made their way through into construction. There'll be a late play from Robs onto Banana. That's a tag, not a kill.
Yeah, but that's going to soften them up for Rain. Still a nice crossfire. He hasn't shown yet. There's 2 back-to-back kills for FaZe. There's the 3rd. Alu standing up to the challenge. This is the man you want to be seeing on this map. A highlight player and almost going to get another one there. That could have been his 4th, but it's just taking his time, and he's got to be aware of this one now. Time is ticking. And Robs knows that he can't really do much about this. Fake's running away. Alu's just dancing with danger, but feels confident. And why not when you're landing shots like he is?
4 kills. And it's insane what you can do with 2 players over that B bomb side. It's actually one of the reasons why retakes in this game, or on this map especially, can be ill-advised, especially if you don't have a man advantage. But Mousesports did. 2 players at the back of B site held it down beautifully. Mousesports didn't really have the utility to get them out of position, right? We talked about them coming into that, even that round, after winning the prior round, with not much utility. Forced to buy UMPs to give themselves a semblance of said utility, and they didn't have it late enough in the round, and FaZe Clan just walked all over them.
Yep, 4-1 now. Money depleted for Mousesports. And Alu going straight in. Peers towards quad. He's going to claim so much of Oscar's HP. It's been a disaster to begin with. And Tensky finally get himself on the board here. Dennis goes down. And it's the upgraded pistols to try and put up the stand in the Mousesports' hands.
Oscar can only just peekaboo this corner for the moment here, and with Carrigan and Rain both watching it, and the smoke there. Interesting, it goes a bit longer than it maybe was intended to. Perhaps it was supposed to go to library just so there wasn't another peek. Either way, it's not going to be a wrap. That is the giveaway. Only pistols for Mousesports, but they're making it happen somehow. Rops walks straight into Tensky. Somehow not ready for that at all. Unpredictable, uncharacteristic maybe, but Rops, who knows what his character is right now. So far, it's the hero in the film that manages to kill everyone, but now it's 2v1 for him.
Now he knows he's got the player pinned on the side. He had his one big opportunity to hit that shot quickly, and he didn't get it in the end. Carrigan safely got across. He would have been allowed Nico to come around in time, but all in all, he shouldn't have even got that far. That follow-up shot that he got in towards Apps was enough to make what sounded like my voice crack. So, yeah, 5-1 scoreline-wise, and the AWP's around. Oscar's got it in hand for the CT side. Alu, again, no stranger to it here on the T side, and he's having a big game too, so nothing to be sneered at this time. I know a lot of AWPers find it tough on Inferno T side, but he is making it look very, very easy for himself.
Oh, Oscar lending his strength to the B side hold early in the round, actually managed to find Alu straight off the bat. Alu was all over Oscar in the previous map, so he brings that one back now. A little bit of a confidence boost going forward. And Oscar is going to stay here. Nico throws a molly. Ideally, a little bit deeper. but no one from Mousesports was pushed any further. So that really has no impact on them in the grand scheme of things. Enough to push Oscar back. The incandescence of a lit Molotov can be quite annoying to try and sort of aim through as an AWPer. But Rob's from up above. This aggression in towards apartments is actually quite unprecedented from a lot of teams. We don't see this often at all. But Rob's found that player trying to press into mid.
FaZe finding no inroads until then. Tensky removing Rops is a little bit of a step in the right direction, but still two players stacked towards this side, towards that quad side. Dennis in the corner, Christian can try and play him in if required, and they're still aware of what's happening. And it does allow the player to come in. He gets one, but a quick adjustment from Nico, but Christian trades out well. It's just down to Tensky here. Tough to get that bomb back, and even tough to get past these last two players. But Christian's the first step in the right direction for him. Yeah,
Lol, the smoke was in his way, actually, so Lol couldn't even get involved in that fight, but then he pushes past it anyway, gets in position to receive Tensky as he comes back with the bomb. And Mousesports find their second. It's a murky mess. They reach their hand in, and they come out with the goods. Oscar maintains the AWP crucially.
Yeah, and him finding Alu at the start, you've got to feel that was a huge helping hand coming through for them. Now, FaZe's money getting depleted on the other side of things. That's already kind of running dry. You've got the rifle on Kerrigan, Tensky with the UMP, the rest on the upgraded pistols, but they do have a fair whack of utility, so they can still put up that early fight, deny that early peek, and try and stop any of those quick kills coming into play and push back those CTs as best they can. But always going to be tough, always going to be tricky, but maybe they're starting to get a read into how Mousesports like to play this.
Two Tech-9s, a Desert Eagle, a UMP, and an AK. That's what FaZe are working with in this round. They've got 3 smokes here, and flashes to boot. The early commitment towards apartments doesn't really reveal anything for FaZe Clan. Mousesports opting to step quite clear of that zone. It's just really Rops again who's going to be holding it, who has been holding it over the last few rounds. We recall his freaky pistol play not 2 rounds ago.
Here we go. First smoke goes in. It's a nice little deep one towards CT Arch. Flash to follow out, deny them a little bit of play towards mid, but FaZe are holding. They're not actually hitting off the back of this yet. They still have another set of smokes to put up, so this could all be almost like a double fake, but is Carrigan going in through the apartments? That's the first thing. He's baiting it out, trying to look for a reply. No one's there. The bomb's going towards B. It's a wrap. It's a play through CT Arch. 2 players heading off that way. I think it's probably Rain and Tensky at this point. It is. And now Chris J and Lol will be tested from so many angles. Chris J in a good spot for this, though.
Carrigan's going to be tested as well. He is the player still sitting back at A, trying to stop any rotations from coming through. Nico and Ali should be able to get the better of Chris J here, but Carrigan falls. He was overwhelmed rapidly by the remaining Mousesports players at A. Now Chris J's got to stay alive. That's all. There's a kit on Dennis. He's on his way. So Chris J needs to purely stay alive, get information, and be embedded in a position where he can spring forth from. FaZe realise they need to clean him out, but they've only got 2 players to work with. And Nico's low, and the Desert Eagle is not going to be enough. This time, Chris J looks over the body of his fallen ex-teammate and gives Mousesports 1 more round.
Between Lol and Chris J, they've been playing very well towards B, and they've not been comfortable hits at all. The nice little crossfires they've set up. Lol was very alone then. He was still at the back of Nubox, but Chris J was in a position where he was basically watching for that CT Arch split. So as soon as they walked up, he was able to get the better of them. Now, FaZe's money being so low, they're back on the Tech-9s. They will be able to get armor here.
Carrigan was in a really rough position in that last round as well. We often see a lot of those wraps via T-sides over towards B be quite effective, but there were 3 players at A, and Carrigan had to not only stop them from coming through CT, but also keep an eye on mid. He had to do both of those things, so he couldn't actually take up a safe position at all. He was out in the open with the UMP. Not much to be done there. Maybe a little bit more thought about where he'd set up may have helped, but regardless, Mousesports responded well getting out of A. So, again, FaZe playing up quite close here. They know that Mousesports don't really like to take much real estate inside apartments, so they will take it themselves. Rops is always going to be a factor, as is Dennis playing on the site here, but FaZe are making tentative steps towards A, but haven't got much information at all.
Mousesports playing this so far back. Players in Graveyard, in Pit, one at the back of the passive CT Arch. It's going to be Chris J to hold back the flood at the moment. 5 players coming his way. Nice little flash there. Does catch a few, but not Carrigan. He was ahead of the curve. So finding one is big, but he gets traded out very, very quickly. But that molly's burning, and that's doing wonders for Mousesports to keep this round together. Bombs down in a very awkward spot for them too. Oscar can watch that like a hawk. Here down to Alu. Bit of a pistol god, I'll give him that recently. But what's a god to a non-believer? Oscar puts him down, and it's Mousesports getting back close.
Is that Kanye?
It is.
Some Kanye up in this, all right.
Yep.
I can get around that.
I like the way you noticed that. Appreciate it.
That's where I got my lines from. Kanye. What a beast. Anyway, 9 rounds down On to the 10th here. Mousesports starting to make a bit of a case for themselves here on the CT side. The AWP remains in the hands of Oscar, and it's been effective thus far. Some ungodly flicks earlier in that previous round, but now he'll be watching towards mid early. This time, FaZe don't have the liberty to push up so deep. They actually haven't used second mid. They're distributing a few more players over on Banana at this stage, but with Oscar playing an early B at the start of this half, definitely made it hard for them now. Christo's going to try and fill his shoes. He does. 2 kills. He'll take that.
Getting away with that is really, really impressive. I don't know how he was able to find that much and, you know, stay there for so long. Lowell tried to bail him out and took the damage that I thought Christo would initially, but yeah, okay, 2 players in the bag already. That's incredibly impressive to play back in from the old car spot. It's just not as viable. You can get wall banged out so easily these days. But still, you've got Oscar over here now, keeping his vision once again towards Banana. It looks like FaZe do want to hit this site. They do have the smokes. That's one towards Coils there and one towards CT. Flash over. And I'm guessing it's Tensky going in pretty darn soon. Molly goes out, though, buying more time for Mouse. And the nade to follow is just perfect.
Lowell in position. We've seen how easy it can be to hold this site, but Oscar wasn't in a position where he could help Lowell at all. He was completely segmented off the site. When you've only got one player sitting back of B, there's only so much you can do. It's amazing how much more strength is added when you have a second player in the opposite corner. That wasn't possible here, though.
They have split out where Carrigan is, so they can start playing back into this now. Dennis does try and do exactly that, but Carrigan bests him. Oscar still feeling so away from being relevant in this round. Tries to make a play happen for himself, but brilliant work between Tensky and Carrigan. Able to make that one stick, and the pause comes out.
Yeah, and this could be for multiple reasons. It's a Mousesports pause, if I'm not mistaken. They haven't bought yet, so there's some discussion to be had. The only player with sort of less than 5k is Chris J at the moment. So they're probably just, thinking about, okay, what have they done? Have they changed things up in this round? What happened at Banana? Do we need to send Oscar back there early? We saw that he get those 2 quick frags. Although Chris J managed to, put up a similar fight there, that wasn't the problem for Mousesports in that round. What was an issue was the positioning of the 2 defending players over on that B site. Oscar was easily segmented with a smoke thrown towards Coffins. He had the AWP, and it was Lowell left to do it all on his own. Not ideal.
No, Lowell, he plays well with back to the wall sort of style, play. He does seem to be doing okay. We saw that between him and who else was there? It was Chris J doing the kind of crossfire piece. He was kind of almost the bait in that situation. He does step up to the plate on that one, but eventually it does get very hard to handle it all by yourself. And as you highlighted in that moment, Oscar got completely shut off from him. The smokes came in. It's very hard to handle it. And to be fair to FaZe, they hit the shots on the way into the site. That was the part that just swung it around to them. Simple as that. Now, FaZe have a good buy here. Tensky wondering to see what he gets here, but on the other side, Mousesports able to scrape something pretty decent together as well. So this is a really important round coming up. Probably another reason as to why the timeout's here. For Mousesports, they need the money to stay in the bank here and build up as much as they possibly can, but it's going to be kind of tough now.
These are the best rounds, Lauren. This is critical mass where both teams have made investments that would leave them otherwise poor in the next round if they were to lose it out. So this is where you see the real juicy stuff comes out, that the stakes are high. Nico, now see, eventually that Molotov should go off. Like, you don't just light it and then hold it in your hand. So what do you think? But it is in CS. Chris J is going to back away. I'm pretty sure that's been identified before. But, okay, we've seen Mousesports now bullied out of the top of Banana so far. Nico with the helm. It's just been Molotov's used so far. So keep an eye on the utility count here for FaZe, because they are investing a lot just to get position now outside of this big site. Lowell goes for the peek, but Ali was waiting for him. Talk about a life cheaply lost.
Yeah, and it's Chris J holding it down, not Oscar this time. A little bit tougher, but he does find Nico through the smoke. I guess it's easier to spam with the M4 rather than the AWP, but Bomb's still at the bottom of Banana, but Oscar's found one through the smoke. Maybe I judged too quickly. Maybe you just saw something on the cross there. Maybe there is a slight gap. That could have been the issue, or it could just be Oscar being Oscar. Bomb will be finally planted. You can see the spray from Chris J trying to hinder it, but the bomb is down, and it's retake time for Mouse, and it's not going to be easy. 2 flashes and a smoke to try and get back in on this B site.
We've seen FaZe win a 2v4 in this position in the past. That B site post-plant has been really good for them so far. They're not in the same positions, though. They've got Tensky towards Banana. Carrigan, you can see he's sitting here at the grill, or what used to be the grill. It's just a stack of coffins now, rather macabre, but there it is. Rain gets the spray down, it's traded out. Rops is going to be coming in from that B side. No, from CT it was. Through the smoke, if I'm not mistaken, it was Tensky to fall. Maps, there was a gap in it. But either way, the Tracers gave him away, gave the round away, and Mousesports win a very important round.
Yeah, hugely important. The problem is that their money's still low for 3 of their players left up here, but, well, I guess Lowell's the only one who's going to truly suffer. He'll be dropped out. It's okay. but he did dip a little lower than the others. But yeah, keeping 2 alive was very, very important. 3 would have been ideal, but at this point, they're bringing this game back. You know, FaZe aren't just running away with this here. Their money's been kept humble. It's been broken down again to the point where you do see Tech9s coming out, so it's going to have to force their hand a little bit here. And Oscar's feeling it. That
little correction was ridiculous, actually. Beautiful stuff from Oscar. An early peak akin to those that we would see from someone like Alu on a similar round. And Oscar's looked really, really good on this map in general, actually. It's funny, he's a hot and cold player. That's the honest truth about him. Sometimes he's really firing and sometimes dead in the water. This time it's the former that will lead the Mousesports forward.
Now, FaZe have shown so little towards B this time. You can see already Chris J's cheating over towards that A site. So getting the quick rotate in, going to try and put his numbers to it. Yeah, and he's not been bad at it either. It's you know, it's hard to handle it. It's not easy, but he's doing okay. Seems to be quite relevant to this round so far, just sitting very passive at CT Arch. Now, if Oscar feels pressured, Chris J can spot it. He has. The damage gets done. Ready's Oscar for the challenge. That just works so well. Now, Alu and Nico have kind of been ground to a halt here. Perfect uses of utility. Great positioning from Mousesports. And again, another big round on the board. And this time, they don't lose that many players. Yeah, and that was big. Oscar, 3 kills for him. The AWP playing a huge part of what Mousesports can do now. The capability strengthened drastically with that. FaZe Clan, though, their capacity is going to be severely limited in this particular round. 2 players with below 2K means no one buys, no one breathes until they get money back in their pocket. Yeah, and they know it. They've hit a wall. I'm surprised the FaZe haven't called their own timeout here, really. It started off quite well for them, considering they got the first 3 rounds, and they got them cleanly. Mousesports barely made a single frag during that. It's kind of surprising to see it down to this point and get this far. Oscar, so confident. That's dangerous to go up that close when you know pistols are a possibility to be in your face. Even a P250 can do so much damage. And he's sticking around as well. So clearly feeling like he's up for the challenge, and Dennis is just mopping up everything else. Comfortable here for him. He peeks out and gets 2-man spray down, and a third, and then Lol is going to be there. He wants to be involved still. Expected for FaZe Clan. It wasn't even a pistol force by their standards. It was a clean save. We've seen them, you know, pull out those miraculous rounds. Not tonight, but their pistol forces have been nice. Now it's all AKs. Tensky even has a decoy there, interestingly enough. But now, of course, Mousesports going to have plenty of money now to work with here as well. A good little bit of buffer means they can buy in the next round, even if they lose out. So that's a good spot to be in. We'll see now as FaZe going to pressure. And a banana. Oscar. So quick. Doesn't get cold feet. He hangs around for that shot. And I love that angle from Dennis. This is a variation, right? This playing towards apartment sort of early round. Now, I find it interesting that Carrigan stood back here so long. Sometimes we see players just spamming down the hallway. But on the odd occasion, we actually see a CT player play so deep into apartments, he can respond from that position. Boost. Oh, that gets just absolutely ruined. Oscar and Ops going down is actually very integral to this one. They know that Lol and Christian are the 2B players, so they have to play back into this. A nice position from Tensky. Crosshair placement for the second time of asking, but yeah, did the job, got it done. And this should be 1 in the bag quite smoothly for FaZe. But considering how this started and how it ended, it feels like a very unique round. You know, you had that opening pick from Oscar, right over by Banana. You're like, okay, that's good for them. Dennis as well, doing some work towards apps, but as soon as that happened, you saw the burst coming from Tensky. Finding that stack was perfect for them. It's the kind of thing that's going to unravel you in a round like this. And when you're stacking and when you're trying to set something up like that, the timing's always, you always take a risk, right? Someone could peak top mid. Someone could just be that randy player that, you know, you hate to go up against in your ESEA games or your rank games in general, but it does happen. And Tensky made the play. Something a little bit different now. Chris Day hoping to try and salvage, but only gets as far as Carrigan, who's waiting in the pit. So let's keep eyes on the money for FaZe here. How are they going to keep this one up? So we've got 2 rifles. Do we have 3? Can I get a 3 rifles here? Rain and Tensky, yeah. And no, there's a rifle drop. So they will have the full buy coming in, which is good for that last round of the first half. Try and get that on the board, because so far Mousesports look way more diligent on their CT side here in comparison to the last map. They looked so out of whack on that one. It's just crazy how little information they're able to get on a few of those rounds, how deep Mousesports sit. Now, if you turtle up like that on site, you actually can make yourself very vulnerable to being out-rotated. Like, if there's a wrap through CT or they collapse on B quickly and stop rotations. But Mousesports actually haven't saved any of those rounds. They haven't been saving these after-plant situation rounds. They've been going for the rotate, and they've been winning them out as well, which is what's really impressive. Now, this looks like a bit of a fashion B here. Karrigan's en route, and this is a very dry hit to start with, but you can see the utility is there to follow. Trading up pretty evenly so far, leaving in this 3v3, but the problem is that Oscar has no info on the site. The bomb's eventually going to get there, but Dennis and Robs are so reluctant to rotate because they didn't see the bomb. Now, the bomb's going to be planted, and you're going to hear that. Oscar's going to make the call, and it's the last round, so you got to get moving. And it's such a long journey. Oscar has to try and somehow maintain some sort of map control here, some sort of area of safety to just speed up the process of this retake. Robson Dennis still on the way. It's still such a long way to go, but they do have that utility. They've got mollies, they've got flashes, and they've got to use them well.
Which is what they didn't have last time they tried to break FaZe on this kind of hold. You can actually get, you know, a molly into one of the corners of this site, and they've done it. They forced Nico out of position, but the 1-2 punch needs to come after that. Still needs to be present, right? It's there. At least Oscar makes the AWP shot in. Nico's being pressured. He gets tagged up nicely. He's down to 13 points of health. Karrigan's close by, but he can't get involved in this fight. He had to turtle up in the corner and wait, but then he chooses his time to spring forth very well. And FaZe Clan hold the site. Mousesports can't do much about that, despite utility being present, Lauren. And the first half of Inferno has lived up to its name. It's been a spicy one, Lauren. Let's see if the second is any similar now, as Mousesports will transition to the T side.
Hello?
Oh, hey.
Hello, mate.
Hey, we're back.
How you doing?
I was going to say, I hate the cliche of a back and forth half, but that's really the only way that this first one on Inferno can really be described as. FaZe Clan trying to pressure Mousesports into moving around the map, but it hasn't actually worked. Mousesports have set their feet, said, no, we're not going, we're going to hold these sites. And for the most part, it's worked out for them here to give them 7 rounds, but FaZe just in the lead at halftime.
Yeah, the opening couple of rounds from FaZe were blistering. They had such pace to them, such power. The first pistol round, you know, Mousesports barely got a kill. It was incredibly hard for them to break back in, but Mouse did recover to some degree, but it was more the T side on Overpass that impressed me from Mousesports. I hope we get to see somewhat of that here, but let's keep eyes on what they do for this pistol. I always like to see if the teams have something interesting lined up for that pistol round, and so far it's a face mid and take the long-range fight, and well, it kind of worked, I guess. Robs finds Karrigan, but it's just this crazy quick play up. What is this? It's worked.
Scrappier than a cockfight in downtown Calcutta, Lauren. It's about as simple as it gets. Bomb going to be planted here. FaZe Clan only have the one player left. It's Nico, for all that it's worth. Although somewhere across the world, his Deagle's calling to him. But he can't find it. Doesn't have the money. He's fallen on hard times, you see, Lauren. Not enough change in the pocket. And not enough blood in his veins. Dennis going to find him there, just the peek out. Pretty comfortable there, and interesting for FaZe to go for that. I mean, we've talked about them as a team and said maybe their strategical depth is not to the degree of some other teams, and they don't need it. But I don't really know what you call that.
It was weird. It worked for Mousesports, though, that straight up mid-fight, and then FaZe kind of taking the straight up mid-fight, too. It was just like, all right, boys, fair enough.
And they
hey, why not?
Punched down mid and then went out 2 duels there as well.
It was just a straight up fight, simple as that. Not much class to it, not much, you know, pizzazz. It was just, what is that? I speak of class and pizzazz, and Nico turns up.
That's
All right.
disgusting.
You're an animal.
Maybe he's expecting a boost, right? Because obviously the player already just jumped. So Nico's expecting to maybe even see a player boosted up there briefly. So, you know, he holds for one shot. Probably didn't expect it to only be a jump. Doesn't freaking matter. He still gets the kill anyway. So we talked about the stopping power of the Desert Eagle before. We saw it on Overpass as well. Nico, I think, was carrying it actually with the first frag. And it completely stopped Mousesports. Now, what do you do if you're Mousesports when things go wrong mid-round? We've seen them choke, we've seen them seize up sometimes, but now Oscar wants to try and seize the day. He's going to press forward and get 2 kills over on that side. And we see Tensky and the rest of FaZe trying to get to that side. But look at this. 4 men for Mousesports sat on B with a plant.
Yeah, no kit as well for the rest of FaZe, so it's probably just keep the armor, keep the pistols. You're not going to probably get much more. Maybe I'm writing them off early, but I think I'm pretty safe in calling that one. Tensky's getting a little closer. Does get the UMP. That's a nice little pickup. That's not bad at all. Something for free is always nice. But yeah, Mouse lose out on ChrisJ so early. You know, to the headhunter of Nico. And come back. Tensky loses his nerf and loses his gun and his life.
Yeah, rough one there. Woo. Rain gets 2 though, comfortably with the 5-7. There's probably no follow-up here for FaZe. The heck up. Just FaZe up. They still lose the round, of course, but that was nice from Rain. 3 kills with the 5-7 at extreme range if you're thinking about pistols. Unfortunately, it's not enough to give the round to FaZe. Their pistol work is sharp as always. Problem is now is that they're going to have to use them for yet another round, Lauren. They don't really have the money to work with here. Alu has an AK that he salvaged. That's it.
That's it. That's not great. Mouse. Yeah.
This reminds me of casting old Meisterschaft games with, you know, teams like Euronics and stuff like that. And we'd see that kind of play all the time. But this is the Pro League, Lauren.
It's not Meisterschaft, Mitch. Alu, where are you? So he's playing. He's basically being played in by Nico over here. That's a bit of a powerful combo. It's not Nico's Deagle, so of course he can't do anything with it. It's not the Deagle Blaze. It's not OP. But Alu up to the fight. Spots out the amount of utility being thrown over. Knew there were more players, but he can't handle them. ChrisJ and Oscar in unison, able to get the job done. But will Mousesports actually commit off this, or will they just hit the brakes here?
Carrigan makes a change in tact very quickly. He heads over towards construction instead. He's got a player coming in from CT at the moment here. No smoke on the cross for Mousesports, although they have smoke, but maybe want to save it for that after plant. They get some control of the bomb site first. It's pretty comfortable. They're up against pistols here, so it's only Rain. He's going to admire the nice stained glass work. I think that's about all that's really going to get done from this position.
Maybe just hoping for an exit. See if anyone would dare walk through ruins after not having safe vision towards CT during this. Oscar's pushed up quite far. He's just, I think they've got an idea where Rain is anyway. Yeah, they do.
That's a bit keen, isn't it?
For a guy with a deagle, yes.
10-8 though. Mousesports actually making some CT-sided rounds happen here. FaZe get some guns back though. Not exactly what they want. Not quite anyway. It's like you ask for a car for your birthday and you get a model car. Not exactly incorrect, but not quite what you wanted. 2 UMPs. Plenty of utility, though, on top of that one. So we'll see what Mousesports want to go for here. 3 men early towards Banana, though. So FaZe going to want to try and face this a little bit here. The Molotov's going to prevent them from sitting up on the car. And actually, they can't go any further because it's a fusillade of ordnance being thrown down the end. Banana?
Big words, Mitch. I'm tired. Stop it. But no, it's more the Mousesports are so hell-bent on pressuring Banana. Now, it's actually gone pretty well from this time. Nico gets, again, pushed out of the way, and this is going to encourage a quick hit to come in, because they know they're going to catch Carrigan all alone, and ChrisJ is not going to be relenting at all. He goes down, Tensky's locked out, Rain and Alu are a mile away, and the bomb will be en route.
Yeah, Rob's going to bring that in. FaZe now realise this is a round that they don't win. We're going to save this one up. A position that Mousesports weren't put in that often at all. I alluded to that one a couple of rounds ago. On the CT side, Mousesports were either in position already, especially with players like ChrisJ being very ready to rotate, or they just sort of won them out, or they kind of just got wrecked anyway. So it's not exactly speaking positively of Mousesports in the fact that they didn't have to save any of these rounds, but this is more common. This is what you normally see. Fast hits on towards a site, and 16 seconds is what it takes to get from the fountain on B towards top mid or to that A site, right? So it's just a hell of a long time. And you got a man disadvantage, and you got a weapon disadvantage. You're going to sit tight.
Yeah, it piles on, doesn't it, at that point, when you start actually considering what they're working with. So, yeah, Rain, I like the spot, mate. Don't worry. I'm into it. I feel it. They're holding on.
Okay.
It's a costly rate. Yeah, Mouse like, oh, God, what have we done? Kind of gone for this one a little too much. Can't escape out of it, and they've lost the guns. Now, their money's okay. They're fine on that. But still, it's a bit of a shame to lose out on that much. But see if it comes back to bite them at the end. And for now, Mouse going to be, of course, making that nice little comfortable rebuy. No worries there. And FaZe can get a decent buy into this. 11-8, though. That's the more impressive factor here, is how many rounds can Mouse actually string together. So far, it feels like, okay, a couple of aggressive peaks have worked for them. That very active challenge on Banana seems to be going very well. But this is a very different look. They're cutting a new figure here. Lots of play towards second mid, taking that control. And they've got, I guess, Oscar and Chris J both keeping an eye towards middle.
FaZe got no intention of playing anyone close in apartments or deep there. So it's going to have to be Mousesports ultimately to try and find an opening. So far it's been pretty good. The fast hits have been good for Mousesports. The slow hits not so much. Same could be said of their performance on Cobblestone. Sorry, Overpass, should I say. Yeah. Was a little bit ropey, especially mid-round if they lose a player, trying to play 4v5 and hit a side. On a map like this, it's a lot easier because the rotation obviously is much more perilous. It's also longer. But even still, Mousesports are going to have to come up with the answers soon. We've got a minute left in the round. They've got to go.
Yeah, 1 minute left. Mousesports seem to be in that position where they're not quite sure what they want yet. They're eyeing on Banana. They've got a fair few players on there, but FaZe still have so much utility left that you can see another molly just being put down. More time is being bought. Another flash, another smoke, whatever they want to do. Mousesports have so much work, so much room to still have to try and cover 40 seconds now. And you can see it. Karrigan knows what's coming. He's just pre-firing into it. Now Nico next up to the challenge on the fountain. Sans Tool gets 2, looks for his 3rd, but that's just out of reach by this point. And now you've got 30 seconds in a 3v3.
Mousesports have an opportunity to plant. They've done so. Lowell puts the bomb down. Robs has a smoke on him as well, so that can go to CT or even to Coffins if they want to get that one set up again. I don't love Oscar's positioning here. If you notice, he's sort of sitting about midway through. The smoke comes down now, and this should be enough. Not a fan. Really not a fan. Gets himself up in that boost spot, hoping to see about the smoke, but Tensky was waiting for just such a move. And now Lowell's going to be caught on his own on the side with what's going down. No, not a fan at all, Lauren. Seen better. And it doesn't work out. The B-hold that FaZe Clan managed to make work so well for them on the T side. For Mousesports, it just falls apart. That's FaZe down, arse up kind of play.
Solid, mate. Love it. Yeah, now Mousesports still got money to buy. Bit of a problem because they can't get an AWP, but it's right. Oscar's fancying a little go on the scout. Alu, not got a great spawn either. He can still peek. Ooh, nice block. That's always fun. No, maybe go for a late peek, but that's risky as hell. Oh, he's gone for a little bit. Deep nade down. Now, molly down to Banana. Again, you can see how heavily contested this is. It's probably both teams really, really vying for it. I'd say early game, you know, Mousesports are winning out on that Banana control. They do generally get it, but more often than not. Nico, though, this time going to be up to the challenge finally. Takes out Chris J. Bit of a tougher game for Nico here. Not seeing him, you know, just dominating everyone. Just being, you know, put to task almost. 5v4 though. Mousesports looking for that next step in towards this map.
I think it slows down a bit from here on out. We've got a couple smokes here still on FaZe Clan. So, I mean, smoking B yet again is a possibility. Oscar just gets wrecked by Ali there. Peek straight down mid. I think he only really had a scout to work with, judging by the sound. This is pretty perilous here. Robson Dennis will be at the 4. Karrigan and Nico. So Karrigan's turned anti-flash waiting on B. Nico's going to receive from the fountain.
Yeah, Karrigan's going to put down the molly now just to buy time, right? He's got the jump flash here. Now playing nicely for him. Flash over to the site. First flash comes in. And again, bit of a trade out of utility, but FaZe still stand. They're still holding their nerve here, but Nico's position this time's noted. He used it before and they're not going to fall for it twice, but Karrigan's is harder to dig out here, especially when the shot's coming in from CT. The crossfire holds up this time, and they keep the round in check. FaZe get 10.
Yeah, we're 22 rounds in now, or at least in the 22nd round. And FaZe is starting to bring it back a little bit after Mousesports started the half with that just ridiculous pistol round, or at least FaZe served it up to him a little bit. Yeah. Mousesports don't have the money to buy in, so this should realistically be 11-11.
Yep. Now, Nico's got a little bit of run boost and an MP9. So, might just gun it down Banana, actually just, you know, literally run down himself. So you can see the utility being used to almost like allow him to do this. Deep smokes, deep molly, and he just gets down and plays coast. That can actually free up Karrigan to rotate over. And this is just, you know, it's a lot of work for just pistols, but it's good. Why not? It gives them so much information. You know, if you're Mousesports and you've lost complete banana control, where do you go? All right, apps. Next, you know, logical step. Sounds about right. And through the damage, excuse me, through the smoke, Tensky able to achieve some damage. He falls back and allows to play in Rain here. As soon as they take a step too far, you're going to see it start to hurt. And yeah, Rain at the helm of this one. 3 for him. And I may not be able to count like Blue, but I can assure you that is 4 kills for Rain there. Nice and comfy, easily done. And we're at 11-11.
Do you want to double check it at all, or?
I'll get an abacus out or something.
Okay. Yeah, you're probably right there, Lauren. I'll give you the benefit of the doubt anyway.
Yeah, thanks, mate.
All right, so Mousesports buy back in for this round here. Well, 11-11 as we did expect.
Double up.
Nico, interesting. Not Karrigan this time, so the spawn... well, it was faster to be, I suppose, for Nico. So we'll see what it's going to be, probably an early peek from the top. And then Alu in towards mid now, but no aggression from Mousesports towards Banana this round at all. In fact, they're really respecting mid, both of them. Neither AWPer on the side of FaZe is actually going to see a lot of action early on here. So, in lieu of this, expect some action to happen towards apartments in second mid as Mousesports trying to work around the parts of the map that aren't being watched closely by these AWPers. But my God, it's slow.
Yeah, this is a very calculated approach, it feels, from Mousesports. I'm not sure what they were expecting or why they've kind of hit the brakes a little bit, but they have. It's been a far slower build than before. They've got 1 minute and 13 to make their minds up as to where they want to go. Currently for FaZe, there is that 4-stack. They're entrusting Nico with the entirety of the B site, and with this sort of angle, you can't really blame him. It's pretty darn strong. Deep flash comes in. He can't really avoid it. He does come out on the other side, but the bait comes in. That's Mousesports just jump in the corner to try and, you know, cause him to make a shot, cause him to get off the angle, and now they've pushed him back to the side.
Yeah. Straight back in the corner. This is going to draw Karrigan away from watching the CT angle, and now both of these two will sort of try and set up on the side. As we've sort of seen before, works okay for FaZe. This time Nico's not going to play on the fountain, though. He's going to sit back. Tensky! CT aggression.
Ooh, that shot was horrible.
Well, didn't work out. Didn't work out. Now Rain going to be on his own here. Alu's a long way away. They were already tending over towards the B site before this started happening. Rain's going to give an account of himself, but Alu swings in as well. Helps out from Library. Shot was good. Not that one, no. He squeezes his way through smoke, but before he realizes that he's looking straight in the eyes of his enemy. This will be the bomb down. It'll be the 2v2. The B players now have to make their way over to A from FaZe. Karrigan is first. Good Molotov. Chris J has to respect this, but look at that pushing ahead of the smoke. That's beautiful. A lovely little burst of pace from Karrigan. He gets on towards the bomb side. He actually goes for the defuse. That forces Chris J out of position. He can fake it. That's fine. But FaZe get the round back after a horrible start.
That was so sick from Karrigan, the way he played that out.
Where did that come from? That was insane.
Love it. Absolutely love a bit of it. Go on, give him a go on the AWP. Why not? And this is my counting moment again, I think. Yeah, very proud of myself for this one.
Right, count along, everybody at home.
I love how long we had on that replay, too, to really get us excited for it.
It's like an episode of Sesame Street. Have the numbers down the bottom and have like a little sun bouncing across them.
Perfect.
Like,
that'd help me,
really
actually.
Good.
And yeah, let's have a little look at Rain as well there. You can see the stats coming up. But yeah, this is a big play through second mid so far from Mousesports. Alu's going to get a good idea of it because he's going to walk right down mid. That's the aggression that people wanted to see. Maybe he feels a little bit freer to do it when he's got the AWP in the hands of Nico as well on the other side. And also deep smoke down to Banana. They're already getting control. It all kind of encourages that aggressive play. And Mousesports do have 3 players now in apps. Chris J waiting at that jump off point in middle. And FaZe just kind of ready themselves for the hit coming in.
Well, if this isn't committed, I don't know what is. Mousesports don't have the utility to back away from this and go for something more protracted. And the smoke can't stop them either. They're going to push straight through it. And Lowell actually hits the ground. 2 feet on the ground and 1 hand on the trigger. That's enough. Tensky, those responds. He gets another one there. 3 for him from this pit. Chris J, all on his own. The bomb is up on high.
Yeah, bomb on balcony makes this almost impossible, or at least incredibly tough, and there it is. Alu to shut the book on him in the end. And that's 13 now sitting beside FaZe. That scoreline is starting to look like maybe the end of the story here for Mousesports. They're 3.7. They can get a buy going, just not a good one. Might just buy up lightly here, maybe down to just above 2K around that marker. So Tech 9 armor, they can get a touch of something to play with in the form of utility. So the smoke, the flash there. But beyond that, you're looking for a plant. You're looking to get yourself ready for those final couple of rounds.
Cursory glancing towards mid for Rain as the smoke does just land there. Tensky's had an excellent CT side actually playing from pit. It's been very effective. That's to molly down. Smoke and fire. Not a great combo. Fan of your health. Rops is going to press forward. Here's Rain, though. He tries to meet them at quad, but Rops came first with the Tech 9. Tensky again, putting in solid performances. His contribution now will slow Mousesports up a great deal. He's on his own, though. That's the scary part. Nico won't rotate yet, and Carrigan's still on his way. Tensky shows himself, perhaps prematurely. Hard to know from the timing there, and Mousesports will have an open sight. Sometimes you save this, but Carrigan's so close now, he figures, I might as well just go for this. We've got so much money. We can steal this round away, it will be good, but not so simple.
Yeah, 2 players in pit almost becomes impossible. As soon as you have those 2 there, it doesn't really matter about anything else. And yet Nico wants to get those guns away. He wants to make him sit there and, you know, have to take the bomb. But yeah, he's off ski. He needs the AWP too. So for him, that's the integral factor. Mousesports do get to exit and keep those 3 guns up. So finally their money's got some sort of, I guess, opportunity to recover. But it is few and far between at the moment. These rounds have been kind of scraped together. And somehow this one is the one that works out for them. So back into the game we go. You can see the kind of break in rounds that finally comes in. FaZe were on a bit of a trot for a while. They certainly had all those rounds falling into pocket, but yeah, this was Tensky jumping down here. Did find that shot in the end towards Lol.
One of the harder positions to play on this map, we actually see Taz has to do it for Virtus Pro as well. It's a good example because he had his problems with it last time we saw them. You have sometimes a minimal amount of time to respond to the enemy team.
Yeah.
You can use sound, but normally if there's a smoke there, the enemy team is already pretty much right on your doorstep before they start pushing. You can't really hear them. So that was quite nice for him. Really good response. Oscar's gaming.
He's good at stepping into that. He is really good at stepping into almost pre-held shots. And I don't know how he's just that much quicker on an angle that he's not, you know, 100% predicting or knowing there's a player there. It's so impressive to watch, and that's just, you know, one of the things that he's good at. It feels as though we're seeing that throughout this game. Overpass, a fine example of him being able to do that too. But now Mousesports with the man advantage, where do they take this? They've got to be aware of this angle. Nico played before, and they are. Oscar gets played in again. This man is just providing it again and again.
I didn't even see that. I didn't even see from Nico's perspective where the heck Oscar was. You could see the wireframe, but that was about it. All right, Carrigan, what'll it be? Well, I think that's pretty clear. He just backs away, sees the smoke was there, probably heard the footsteps as well and realized that he was out of his depth somewhat. Rain at least is able to recover the AWP dropped by Alu. But how about Oscar in this round? Beautiful stuff. Both AWPers for FaZe get knocked down a peg. And Oscar was the culprit.
That was so good. It felt like Mousesports needed that as well. It felt like this game wasn't quite working, you know, their way for quite some time. You saw the impact of Alu's aggression starting to come into play, the impact of Nico having the overwatch down on Banana, and it started to feel like, oh, you know, maybe they're going to run away with this one now. Maybe this is pretty much a done deal, but no, it did seem to work out much better in the end. And Mousesports trying to keep 5 alive here, trying to hunt these remaining players down, and they're doing quite nicely at that. Carrigan's going to try and stay alive as long as possible, but Oscar will find him too. And you can see the impact now that has had on this game for them losing out on money. They're down to 3.3k on a couple of players, 3.1 on another. They can get an upgraded pistol buy, but beyond that, you want to be readying yourself for that possibly final round to get yourself towards OT if required. It's
not nice, to say the very least. You see Alu, of course, has to save because he wants it AWP real bad. Oh, there's a Deagle here in the mix, though, for Nico. Again, Mousesports are so well kitted out. No, yeah, again, a lack of early presence towards Banana here for Mousesports. Now, this is perhaps not around if you're keeping tabs on FaZe's economy that you expect them to really be bringing AWPs in, but still they're playing this so passively. It's a 2-man stack on the inside of apartments for Alu and Rain. They're sitting at Boiler right now, and Tensky's sitting quite a long way forward. And you can see that wallbang now. You can see the impact of that. Rops was just tapping through the window we saw earlier on. You can see the bullets cross quite close by Tensky. He's looking at it. Slowly now, Mouse will make their way towards B. It's just going to be Nico on that B side. Mass have so much utility here. None of that's really been drawn out yet. Rops will probably just circle back and grab the bomb and then join the rest of Mouse in Banana.
Yeah, and you can see Lol basically holding the back. He's not actively doing anything. He's basically waiting to push out. He has a very passive angle on it. It does display that, okay, yeah, this is probably a B hit now. So maybe Mouse can, you know, switch up, maybe abort this plan, and then try and head elsewhere. Getting a pick in any aspect is always good for a T side. And you can see them trying to use utility here just to try and keep FaZe considering it's going to be that B hit. But they're running out of options, and Lol is just...
How? How does Rain get out of that unscathed? That's quite astonishing to me. Okay, so as Mousesports pull out a B, what you didn't see, Karrigan and Nico tried to get aggressive, but Mousesports left Oscar there as that centerpiece, as the pivot. And he gets both kills there with the AWP. That's super nice. Now Alu has to go and try and make something happen here with just the pistol. It's just a P250 for him. Well, even Muertos means murder or something along the lines of that, but he'll be struggling to really try and enact any sort of simulation. Although ask Anders about it, he might be able to tell you a bit more. Bombs down though, time's ticking away. No kit, no interest in Alu trying to pressure this.
Yeah, Alu just playing for exits. He knows that money is so tight for the FaZe side.
He especially has been saving as well for the AWP in this round.
You saw what he could do with it. I'm not a big fan of it being on Nico as such. We saw him being kind of outdone on Banana there, but Alu's giving us a great showing of it. That little bit of aggression towards mid, falling off it, but the instant response has always been Oscar. He is having a very, very impactful game. Something that you don't normally see as a consistent element, but when he has
He's not. That's the problem.
Yeah. It is his biggest issue is a matter of consistency. He seems to have a very, very high game, almost the pinnacle of what he can achieve, but it doesn't come around this often. He has been game changing though, especially on this T side after bringing back a good couple of rounds. Those openers, he's been getting have been second to none. So now this is a big kind of hurrah for FaZe here. They need this one, otherwise money again becomes a little bit problematic.
Molotov in mid slows Mousesports down. I actually think they wanted to go for something there. But the timing was very, very good. There'll be a smoke thrown to top mid. Nico has control of Banana at the moment, so that's all quiet on that front. Tends to get a smoke up. So this is just that first wave of utility being drawn out of FaZe Clan here. For Mousesports, this is expected. This is something they're quite happy to go for. They know that they're going to have to bide their time a little bit here. Oscar gets taken very low there. Goes for a very close peek. I don't know who that was that hurt him so badly.
It might be Tensky. You can get an angle on that from the balcony. If he steps out wider, you can spot Boiler. So that might be it. That's why he's being very cautious of how far he's setting. I could see the bullet impacts on that corner. That was wall bangs, yeah. So that could be him. You can see it pop up on the radar. You can also see it visually, but very, very slim amounts. Now, Alu being a little forced away from the angle, pretty encouraged to play passively almost by this point, but Mousesports are down to 30 seconds. They do need to make their minds up on this site here. Now you've got Tensky, Rain, and Alu here. Karrigan has gone over towards B, so they might at least have a fair shot at this. And here it comes. 3 players through towards CT Arch. Alu does find one, but quickly traded out. Chris J gonna just barrel straight on through. Did not expect Rain to be sat out on the site like that. What an off angle. What a strange place to play from. Lol gonna correct well. Oscar towards Tensky and his bomb plant time. Retake is on, and the HP is low for Mousesports.
2v1, and it's Lol very low here. This will be Mousesports. This is where they break the game. This is where they break FaZe, but FaZe won't allow that to happen to them this way. Karrigan's low. The smoke not obscuring quite enough of him. But he's able to find a kill on towards Lol regardless, and they keep themselves alive. Now, it's getting very interesting. It's important to note as well that FaZe were forced to save quite conservatively. So losing 3 players in this round, we'll probably see a situation where they don't have a lot of money even for the next. They're going to grab these weapons, but there might be UMPs and, God forbid, even Tech 9s built around that. We'll have to keep an eye on that economy. Mousesports, though, we're looking very, very good money-wise, and they still are. You can see here, 3,600 for Tensky and Alu. Not a lot to work with then. You're going to have to go for something a little bit less. There was a dropped weapon, at least.
All right, so they dropped out Alu.
I think Tensky can still get a rifle here.
Should be able to. Yeah, he has. So FaZe's buy is actually okay considering, and I'm kind of happy that Nico's back on the rifle here. I actually prefer it. I know we've seen some very, very quick, very nice shots from him, but it's a matter of how much he achieves on it. We've got the 3-man play for FaZe over at the start as well towards Banana.
Dennis.
And please be careful, Dennis.
What choice does he have? He has to go there. Now he has to stand his ground and try and get the spray down, but Chris J was there to back him up. And FaZe, they go for this aggression. It's a gambit towards Banana. It may still work, though. Tensky slows Mousesports down. Oscar falls. We have a 3v3.
Well, you just don't expect that third man to be aggressive as well. You lose out on 2, you're like, oh, back he comes. Fair enough. Yeah, that's a solid capper. Chris J, Rops, and Lol. The 3 remaining Musketeers for Mousesports. Had to get past Rain and Tensky. Tensky playing not quite at the back of Nubox, more I guess by the pillar. Just off to the side, a little bit of an angle you get on it. It does play in well. It bodes even better for Rain as well. Gonna back away, readjust. Tensky though, maybe,
not good.
Yeah, didn't need to stand out there in this one. It means it kind of comes back on to being possible, and the new man has to do it all here. Ops, can you deny match point from FaZe? We're about to find out.
45 seconds left. Keep an eye on the timer. Rops has time to work with here. But he wants the plan. He wants to try and force FaZe Clan to come forward. He may as well. He didn't fancy pushing smoke. Either way, somehow, Rain is caught blindsided. It's Rops to push in towards him, and Alu has an AWP. Needs to go toe-to-toe with a newcomer here from Mousesports, and Rops has spotted him. Now the spray is there, and he gets it done. Straight out of Estonia to your screens, and he gives Mousesports the one round they needed.
And look at the money now for FaZe. That round was so important, and we saw hesitation before in this man. It was on Cobble. We saw that weird little 1v1 he had on towards the statue before when he was playing out of Chicken Coop. Just in that first match day when we saw him, we saw the hesitation. He did win it in the end, though, and we were real worried. Maybe he's got that, you know, couple of nerves there, you know, a little bit scared of those 1v1 situations. Doesn't want to let down the side, but no. He stood up well and truly to the challenge there. Taking on FaZe is never easy, buy or not, it doesn't matter who it is, all incredibly talented individually in those clutch situations.
So sick.
So, now into this one. Deagles, 5-7, CZs, UMPs, and armor with a touch, a light dash of utility to boot, and it's not much to play with. So again, FaZe gonna have to dig deep here and find a way back into this one. Otherwise, it's gonna be Mousesports closing out.
Either match or overtime point is where we are right now. Now, Mousesports, a very quick hit in the last round, so much so that Rops in a 1v2 still had 45 seconds to work with, which is very, very good for him. But you've got to respect this. The Deagle doesn't come through from Ali, though. We were certainly caught a little bit of an unexpected location, but it's not enough to get the job done. Now, Rain's going to back away and smoke as Mousesports press forward.
And they're taking the wrap towards CT Arch for now. There is that deeper smoke towards the site. Rain's still on the other side of the smoke. Chris J swiftly getting round here, but Lol's going to try and pinch in as well. They need to get the timing right on this. Karrigan and Nico en route too. Rain now worried. Tensi has found Lols. That's going to cut off one of the approaches, and really, Mousesports got stuck. What is this? They just got stuck in the smoke. They had nowhere to go, and Karrigan comes around. The CZ tears apart Mousesports, and it's Oscar in a 1v3. He misses that first critical shot. Molly goes down. He's burning alive, and I'd be frustrated if I was Mousesports.
A critical moment and a critical failure. Oscar's barrel shows through the door, and it's going to be going to overtime. FaZe, by rights, shouldn't be winning rounds like that, but we can't forget who we are talking about. Karrigan, out of nowhere, the CZ finds its mark, and Mousesports got stalled in enemy territory in a smoke that was already clear, and they were flashed. Here we go, Lauren. It is going to be overtime. And look, you're mad about that if you're Rops as well. You really gave your team a ticket to getting that important win, those important points to stay up in the Pro League. And now that could all be down the gurgler.
It could be. And if you're Mousesports, that is a complete and utter, you know, failure of internal organs to lose that round. Yeah, okay, don't get me wrong, FaZe, they're good on those rounds. They're very good with pistols, but that was just purely Mousesports allowing that to happen, and that is not a good look. That's enough to make you tilt, let's be honest. Now, I don't know about the mentality of Mousesports. I don't know if they're chill guys. You know, they wouldn't take that to heart, really. You know, we used to know there was a little bit of fire with them on occasion. You could hear it through the studio. So I wonder if that would ever hinder them. But hopefully mentally they can reset, sort themselves out, and they get themselves ready for that overtime.
Mousesports need to think long and hard about their T-sides here and how definitely it feels to me like a little bit of a weaker facet of theirs over the course of this map. Bear in mind here as well that both these two teams are, I guess, in a bit of a new look phase, and we kind of talk about the honeymoon period for newer rosters, but I also need to realize the origin or the genesis of this kind of sensation is purely the fact that opposing teams don't actually know what to expect from this new player, where he's going to play, how that changes the style at large. Now, FaZe, to a degree, are that kind of team that can be quite fluid, but bringing Tenski into the lineup, you know, will give you pause for thought and say, okay, well, does this change anything now? Like, we're going to see Nico, for example, playing more aggressive. We've seen a bit more of him with the AWP in this match than Karrigan, for example, despite both of those two players actually playing B together. So you justifiably could give Karrigan the AWP. The point I'm trying to make is that FaZe probably showing a couple of different elements, I guess, at more of a microscopic level, that when you're in a position where you study teams and you're Mousesports, you want to know what FaZe are about. Yeah. This may not be exactly what you're expecting to see, but Tenski's really held his own so far in this game. He's had to play sort of the pit role over towards A, diggity as we call it, back home. And he's done a very, very good job. A couple of rounds where he's getting those 3Ks and stuff like that. There have been a few situations where he's been in clutches. Lauren, he's forced out of position with mollies and stuff like that, but that comes with the territory playing from that position.
Yeah, it certainly does. And the other thing we want to say now is we're back in the big money. FaZe, the last couple of rounds, have been consistently trying to make it count on really shoddy buys. Now, I love this screen. What is this? Oh, we're back. God knows, after Rush's... We had a little bit of a glimpse onto Rush's PC earlier. It's terrifying there. We won't talk about what we saw.
Sometimes we see it, the stuff that he gets into.
No,
However, we do have a nice pro tip coming from him today, which I think we'll like. It's got a little bit different.
Do we know what map it's on?
Inferno.
Oh, lovely.
Got me
Love a bit of Inferno.
Yeah, a little bit of spice to it.
Yeah.
Not your everyday thing. So that's something to.
I love the way at the start of this, production goes, yeah, it's going straight into OT. I'm like, oh, okay, straight into OT.
It comes down to what the teams want. I think we are there. We're about to get into there. I mean,
I'm just
want to talk.
Consistently triggered, Mitch. You know that. But yeah, we'll finally see the FaZe have that decent buy coming in. They seemed for a couple of rounds on that CT side to be lacking the funds to get that full purchase. I'm hoping we don't see double orbs coming out. We aren't. So far, it's just Alu. So no worries on that front. And Chris J first round going UMP.
Well, it's a money grab, really. I mean, we have 10K to start with, right? And what can happen? I mean, this might be just an investment for Mousesports. If you lose the first 2 rounds, you generally have a really crappy economy on the third. So there might be that. But look at this fast push here from Mousesports, and Rob starts it well. Tensky desperately trying to throw a flash in position, but Carrigan gets the double nade. Will it be enough? That's the question, though. Tensky now is one left in this wake, but he falls very, very quickly. Mousesports, that's what we'd like straight out the gates, blistering pace, and they shake FaZe Clan from their seats.
What is that for a beginning? Crazy, indeed. The nade finding 2 is a nice benefit, I guess, bringing it back to a winnable situation for FaZe, but playing back into the site isn't easy. Alu trying to be relevant with that AWP is going to be even tougher for him, and Chris J's position is going to make it even more. You have to commit so much to the angle just to be able to push him out of that corner, even though he is low. The mollies now coming into play make it even trickier. This one might be slipping out of control now. The last 2 remaining members of FaZe don't even have a kit on them either. I think they could pretty find one on the site. Rain is doing as much as he can here. He has found 2, but really he knows that time is not on his side, and there it is. The back away from both the ults, but the round will go to the T side, which is Mousesports.
And that's big. Maybe more UMPs required for Chris J here as well. He's up to 11K now, so it's more than his starting budget. But it's just a buffer thing that you can give yourself. So how we see that manifested, does that mean that maybe he's just got an extra bit of money to drop an AWP to Oscar if he needs it? Maybe they realize how important Oscar's AWP is to them in this game in terms of what he's been able to accomplish for it. So it's like, hey, I'll take the hit. I'll take the slightly less powerful weapon here and have a bit of money later on. Just a thought, just some theory craft, but we don't have time for it now. If Mousesports are going to play like that last round, this could be another quick one.
Yeah, but they're going second mid this time, but they are all lining up for it. I think Oscar might be lining up for the shot here, just waiting to see if anyone peeks in. Allows the rest of his team to get that second mid control, but the smokes finally bloom from FaZe to try and keep top mid staying into their possession. Alu holding the smallest of angles possible, it seems. And FaZe with 4 players towards A.
It is a slow start for Mousesports, but a bit of aggression. Alu down to 1 point of health. Just the spray was enough, and by the time the flash had cleared, he'd realised the depth of his folly. He'd hung around for just a little bit too long.
Yeah, now Nico very alone at B. If Oscar gets played in here, already pushed off the angle, this gets a bit worrying, and no one's rotating from FaZe. Rain's finally getting over there, but if they jumped off then, that could have been so much worse. But 50 seconds now, and it feels as though FaZe don't really know what Mousesports are up to.
Oscar just behind Rops there. He wants to line up a bit of smoke. So this is the hit. So Rain has had time to rotate, but Carrigan is so unsure. You can see the minimap. The player in CT is actually heading back to A. Now back to B, but that might have cost him some precious moments. It's a good 8 seconds before he can get involved in this fight. Chris J gets in there, guns down 2, and Carrigan's got smoke in his way. And no mirrors. He can't even make a magic trick out of this one. It's Chris J again who finds him. And Alu with that 1 point of HP. He wants to hold on to this AWP, but Dennis is going to chase him down as well. He knows he's there. It's a good old Mexican standoff. The tumbleweed rolls by, and the clock strikes. High noon, it's going to be Oscar to find him. 17 to 15. That was a thing far before what you're looking at me for, Lauren. That was always a thing. It's a Mexican standoff. Tumbleweed. 17 to 15. This has been a sick T-side on overtime for Mousesports. Just after we did say how they can stall out mid-round if they lose players or whatever. That hasn't happened. They've really been carrying it to FaZe.
And let's be honest here. That round was all Chris J too. The 2 openers were his, and they were hard shots. He was just going in for it. So Alu, he's going to try and find a response. Aggression down mid. Perfect adjustment towards Oscar too. And now if you're Mousesports, you've lost an integral kind of piece in your puzzle that's been working so well for you up to this point.
Yep, took a dookie on him, no doubt about it. Ali gets a bit of extra damage on the Rops there as well. So Mousesports are trying to keep their distance from FaZe, but Ali's not really interested in playing that kind of game. He wants to get up and get in their face and get aggressive. And now we have Mousesports slowing it right up. See, Carrigan's just ahead of Nico, just on his side of that wall. Can always be anti-flash if he needs to, if he feels like he needs to turn around. Carrigan's shadow will show if he pushes any further around the corner. Sorry, that's not a word, further. Definitely not a word.
Further and corner together, though.
Dennis, yeah, exactly, which I've done that all night. But Dennis will know. So Carrigan, okay, smoke's fine. Slight gap, how curious. Dennis not really interested in playing games with it, though. If you smoke it, you can push it. Carrigan and Nico are maybe just jockeying for a slightly better position here. Rops has the AWP in lieu of Oscar. But Rain and Alu are playing that corner so tightly. Now, Molotov should bounce in. Now, this is the chance for Rops. Needs to make this shot. No, it's Alu comes out. God damn it, man. That was the opportunity for Mousesports. They really had him. He was forced out of position, but Alu was just so consistent. 3v4 now, Mousesports losing yet another player.
But Nico is all alone here, and he's only got a deagle. They can still make something happen this one. If Nico doesn't, do anything, it gets a bit problematic, but the bomb's gone loose. The nade did the work that it needs to. Rain finding Chris J there. Dez picks up the bomb and will be putting it down, but Dez is also low, 32 HP, and they're easily picked up. Just spraying through that smoke is Rain. And now Lowell in the 1v3, surrounded on all fronts, and Tensky pounces from the back. FaZe to at least get one on that first half of OT.
Yeah, not bad. That's definitely not bad at all, considering the kind of pace that Mousesports were bringing in. They go for a variation, or should I say, Alu goes for a bit of a variation. How he wins that second duel is ridiculous to me. He's been Molotov'd out, he's sliding out, so you can still connect shots quite comfortably like that, but Rob's just got completely smashed in that case, and you could see him, his reaction was not slow. So Ali was just damn fast. Really nice stuff from FaZe. They turtle up when they need to. They hold those sides comfortably enough, and then they can have situations like that late in the round where they're playing from ahead, player advantage. So, second half, both teams go back to 10K. A lot of that will be spent early on. I think Oscar just spent 7.7K. That's a lot of money.
It is big dollar bills because Mousesports know they're pretty close. They need to get this going, though. But the WMP as well, Dennis and Chris J both going on to that. So maybe the kind of, as you highlighted, contingency plan. But do you expect the mid-aggression from 4 players coming out? They're right down behind them. The mollies come in, the nades come out. Oscar just needs to stay alive.
That's brilliant. I mean, maybe the UMP pickup gives away the idea of pace to us. That's what Mousesports wanted to do. And the fact is that Alu, I think, fell to the Molotov before he even saw the players from Mousesports in mid. He might have heard them, but he didn't know that the punch would be coming from that direction. Now things get a little bit dicey. The fact is, though, is that Mousesports aren't in a position where they can make a wrap here or rotate or flank from Banana, because Nico had a smoke up there. He was watching it. They've got to force themselves through. Bomb's ticking away. Nico finds a first kill. FaZe could turn this around. I think they might even be able to do it now. The last vestiges of smoke clears around Nico. That's an interesting position, to say the least. Not sure about that one from the Bosnian, but now it's Carrigan in the back corner of the site. Time is ticking. There's a kit on Dennis. Carrigan needs to choose his opportunity to spring forth very carefully. Here we go. Lowell going to push ahead now. They're going to face it down. For whatever reason, Dennis decides to leave it and go for the defuse. Too much faith in Lowell, perhaps, to get the kill. And then it's just a spray down. Unbelievable.
Let's watch this again. Oh, Lord. That's... You hate to see it, but it's 17-17. Mousesports able to buy up fine. They were on the WMPs, but that round could have been so different.
What part of being 1v1 against Nico, diffusing in smoke, makes you feel safe? I know we had a kit, right? I know it's 5 seconds, but... Time to kill in Counter-Strike is probably the lowest out of most FPS games. It doesn't take long for them to mow 2 people down, especially if they just lay down and take it. Ugh. No. Opportunity was there, that's for sure. Anyway.
Yeah, FaZe now have the upper hand. Oscar, you land that, do you?
The correction was quite insane. Like some sort of like upside-down J or something. Either way. Really nice from Oscar. Puts Alu out of commission in this round. Either team can take it from here. 19-17 is a winning score.
Just need to string those rounds together, which both teams seem to be struggling somewhat with. Mousesports running a little low on those mollies and flashes and smokes and such. FaZe retaining theirs as long as possible. Bit of a slower approach from FaZe here.
Left side of top mid is smoked out.
Yeah, and there's a big play towards quad. The bomb actually came up with that.
Yeah, Rain is quite far forward here, so Rops is going to be a pretty important factor here. Oscar knows that He can essentially help Rops with a crossfire, but that smoke is now cleared on his side. They're going to pull out with the bomb. This is interesting. Dennis goes down, though. Rain faces, he challenges, he wins it out. Oscar catches an airborne. Tensky, but he misses Rain just behind the box.
Bomb's going B. There's 2 players here still. They've not moved. This could be still incredibly problematic, and they've lost it. Rain did it all against the odds. They did not expect it to happen. And then Lowell and Christian just stood still. Simple as that. Heartbreak for Rain. He fought, tirelessly to create opportunities aplenty towards A, but it just fizzled out.
I need a cold shower after that. That's rough for FaZe. I mean, I get it, right? You're not even cheat a player. You put a player over towards A going, you know what, you're not supposed to get kills here. We're not expecting you to win. Yeah, maybe get one, right? He just went absolutely ham. The problem was that FaZe was so committed to that B push at the exact same time that Rain would have been screaming out, I've got the site. They're already in B. And the bomb carrier went first there as well for FaZe as they pressured through it. Yeah. And just look, without the kills on A, B would have seemed like the better option. I totally understand that, but things change so quickly in this game. If you can't respond quickly enough, you're not going to win. Oscar hangs around. Sometimes you make that investment of health to get the kill, that's fine. He doesn't find anything though, so now he's just 66 health points in the negative. 56. Math is hard.
It's tough out here. But Oscar's now just kind of free-floating around the map, trying to find where he can be most relevant. Oh, someone's got a cup of coffee. Oh, Naya.
The one person that will never give you the cup of coffee if you want it.
Unbelievable. But FaZe lining it up. It looks like this could be maybe that hit towards A. I think I hear Matt singing in the background as well. Everyone's losing it. Where are they going to take this, though? They don't really have much real estate. Tensy's got apps control. That's good. Now, Christian and Lowell, we've already noticed they don't rotate easy. Unless they've seen that bomb, they're not going anywhere.
They will turtle sites pretty comfortably, yeah. And they hold them so well.
They do. I'm not disputing it. They are absolutely fine at holding it. And again, the bomb's not committing early with FaZe. Now, they are working through apps control. That's the one thing they are doing. Banana control. That's what they're doing right now. Nico and Carrigan are working up. So now they've got apps and they've got banana. Now, it's not surprising. Mouse like to play the sites. They're playing it because they know they can. They're forcing FaZe to finally commit. There's 30 seconds left. Now, they're still trying to force a rotate here, FaZe. They're still trying to get Oscar to float over towards that B side, which he's actually doing. Now, no one's pushed through, so hopefully Oscar realizes this soon. They need the call. They need the call to come back through right about now, because they're already FaZe are up on quad. Dennis, they're holding an incredibly passive angle. Robs as well gets played in. Great crossfire. Robs a little bit maybe wanting more than he was entitled to, but hungry for the frags is not a bad thing for a young man like him. But Dennis is showing him how it's done. 8 seconds remain.
3v2 now. Bomb going to get planted one way or another. FaZe get it done now. The quick trade with the Orps. There's Oscar to find Carrigan, and now it's Alu in a 1v3. He's already got 3 kills in this round. That's all, though. That's all he's going to have. Mousesports will take this one away. It was an overtime. It was a bloody affair. You can even see the decoration on the battlefield here on Inferno. But as it stands and as it finishes, it's a 1-1 split between the two maps, and Mousesports keep their playoff dreams alive, Lauren. What a stunning overtime from these two teams.
Yeah, both of them fighting tooth and nail. You saw huge performances not only from Alu, but Oscar as well. Both AWPers really setting this game alight.
On that note, let's head it over now to the desk, who I'm sure have plenty to say about how this one went down. What a series, gents.
Plenty to say indeed. Overtime gives a great opportunity to get some of those last-minute points ready for the death segments.
That was an exciting one, wasn't it? I'm kind of glad Mousesports picked that one up, I feel like they deserved it. They had a lot of big clutches as well. We saw the young men. What's going on?
I was just saying,
it's just Jason's face.
Oh, really, was it?
Yeah, I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, lots of
your words.
What's
your
that?
Words were going over the...
They were going somewhere,
Sorry
but
to
interrupted as usual. I'm trying to do my best here, but always getting shut down by you two. But yeah, I actually really enjoyed that one. I've had to say, Rob's actually stepping up in some really key clutch situations, especially towards the end as well. I felt a bit gutted for him, especially in that 15th round when he's up against Pistol. He wins the 14th round, they go into it, he thinks he's done enough. He forces a full reset on FaZe, and then they go and lose a round in such a typical FaZe fashion, right? Just you thought, okay, Mousesports could be out of this one though, but they kept it together and managed to actually win in overtime there. So, fun game overall, I think. What have you got here? Why have you got your water, though?
That was your water, and I'm just hiding my coffee. So we fixed that.
Wow. Yeah, we did fix that.
But
mistakes as always. Headsets on the right side.
Oscar, for me, was the hero to get them into overtime with a couple of really important AWP picks late in that half. And then when we got to overtime, everyone kind of contributed and did their job. One thing that you pointed out, Jason, was the fact that Chris J bought a UMP on the first round of overtime because they knew they were doing a beast
Good
trap.
stuff.
But it makes sense though, right?
It
Well,
does.
we also commented on Overpass. We didn't bring this up in the post game, but there was the round Kerrigan had an AK-47, switched to his Tech 9 to go through to actually attack the bomb.
It's just the world we live in now.
Yeah,
it doesn't make sense,
isn't it?
Yeah, but it's
yeah, obviously using the mobility to good effect. But I mean, both offers. We mentioned Alu, how good he is on this map. Not a lot of people can contest, and Oscar did a great job of it.
Yeah, Alu didn't really turn up to this one in the kind of fashion I set it up to be. Do you know, like I was saying, that he's probably the best Inferno player in the world right now. And
had that great build-up, and it just didn't live into the hype.
Yeah, Oscar actually shut him down pretty convincingly as well. I think at this point, everyone knows how Alu plays this map, and they're probably watching him quite convincingly before they go into it, right? They're actually watching his demos, watching his tendencies, and I think at this point, that's always going to happen. It's going to be a drop-off eventually. If someone's so good on a particular map, you're going to be watching them, especially as an AWP going up against him, right? And you can see that coming to effect. He tried to do his aggressive stuff, getting shut down quite a lot. He had some big rounds towards the end there as well, actually finding some clutches, but overall, not the performance we're used to seeing from Alu there, and maybe that was the reason. Obviously, we talk about Tensky being within this team as well. It's always going to be difficult on a map like Inferno. I kind of suggested Overpass might be the difficult one for them, but they actually picked that one up and drop Inferno, which doesn't make sense to me, but that's the way it falls apart.
Did drop it in close fashion as well, so it's not like it was deficient.
Sure.
Anyway.
I was thinking the same thing as Henry. You know, I thought that Inferno would have been a much more of a clear-cut map for FaZe with the stand-in.
Yeah.
But that was surprising. Something to look at in this game would be interesting to get stats up for it. We don't have anything for it, someone to look into it. Was the B bomb site? It looks like teams now know how to control Banana that mid-round and then execute onto B. And on both halves, teams were able to get that site consistently, and then it just came down to did you play your afterplant properly, or did the other team retake in fantastic fashion? It's such a. I think the B bomb site is super interesting because most teams can get it a decent amount of the time, maybe 70%. You know, you're not getting shut out too badly. We even saw like rounds where Lau boosted up on that back box.
Yep.
You know, he got multi-frags, and then they were still able to hold like a 2v3 afterplant situation.
That was a really interesting boost, actually. Yeah. We should just touch on that quickly. Like, it's the new boxes, you can actually boost on top of it. The way Mousesports were holding the B site, one player by Coffins, like spotting for him and getting the information, and he can throw really high flashbangs. When you're boosted up in that box, you're not getting flashed at all.
Yep.
And obviously, it's not a pre-fire spot, so he's getting multiple frags. We've seen, well, we've tried boosting together, but I want to kick him 2 players behind there. So we were kind of interested to see that. Well. And then the thing is, well, you're protected from the Molotovs coming in, the set piece Molotovs that land towards the new box. You're not necessarily going to be checking that as a T coming in because you don't expect them to be anyone there at all. So that's quite an interesting idea.
Yeah, cool game from both teams that Mousesports do take it. They split the series there, the 2 games at least, 1-1 for each. So we'll see how that affects the playoff standings at the end. Stay tuned. When we come back, it's going to be NIP taking on Astralis.